Committee on Ways and Means is now called to order. I will call on Councilwoman Jackson for our invocation.
We don't have any wisdom without your understanding of our city, of our community, and the people that we serve. Thank you for helping us have the resources that we will be deciding about at this meeting, and I pray that you will just give us every piece in doing that. In your name we pray. Amen.
February 25th, 2020 minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Bids and purchases? Discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a question. I know we have an emergency purchase for the swimming pool, but just have a couple of questions on it. I understand that it's an urgent need. We need to do this, but and I know it's $80,000. Just want to make sure, first of all, are we paying any more because of the demand? And second, if we had a choice, would this be the filter that we chose?
So I don't have the answer to all of those questions. It's the only one that was available. To have one built, the lead time would put us out of our whole project area. So that's the two answers I have, but I don't have the other answers for you. I can look into it though.
Okay, I'm good
Any
with that.
further discussion?
You know, I do think we need to, obviously we need to go forward with it. We've got a time crunch. We've had a lot of delays on that swimming pool, and you know, people are waiting for it. There's a need for it, and you know, so I do believe we need to move forward. I just was trying to.
And we didn't know it needed to be replaced until we started dismantling the system, and we realized that the whole interior had pretty much disintegrated, and we couldn't reuse it.
Okay.
So.
All right. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 4, Budget, Finance, and Revenue Collections.
Move for approval.
Any discussion? Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to advise the council that the effective interest rate for our lease purchase financing is about 1.5%. It's a very low interest cost to us to do business this way. I just want to share.
Now's the time. Any further discussion on this item? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposes? Item number 5 has been deferred. Item number 6. Any discussion? Council member?
I just want to say this is money well spent. We have utilized AmeriCorps Vista. Mindy, you do a great job. This is money well spent, and we should all look into this. They really help the bandwidth of other organizations, particularly community organizations, with this money, and it expands their capability in the community. So fully supportive. I think it's a great.
Mr. Chairman, I would just echo that. You might have seen this memo that lists the community organizations that benefit from having Vista members placed within their organization. And I just don't know that many people in our community know the value of this Vista program to the city and the region of Charleston. That something like 27 different organizations get direct help and assistance to employees basically for minimal costs, including some of our own city operations. So I just echo what a great deal this is for us.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 7, the mayor's office. Any discussion? The only thing I'd like to mention on this one, and I think it's really great, one thing that I've noticed about the elderly that I think really attention needs to be paid to, and it has more to do with their mortgage insurance and their deductibles. you'll find in many cases that deductibles for the elderly sometimes is pretty high. And if they just saved a couple of years, okay, may even have enough money to take care of anything that might be problematic. So I just think that there should be some kind of discussion with regard to homeowners insurance for the elderly. And I'm using a personal case, okay? Just taking a look at my mother's insurance policy that she'd been paying for many, many years. And when I had a discussion with her and told her how to do it, she ended up saving almost $2,000 to $3,000 a year. So it does make a difference. I just want, if we can just sort of look into that.
Mr. Chairman, is any opportunity for other organizations to partner with them? The County Bar Association did a clinic about a year or so ago on wills, simple wills, and this would be an opportunity to co-tail with this organization.
I'm sure they will.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what we're hoping to do with this, is bring in resources so that more seniors are aware of just the things are. We very much want the needs and the things that arise that people see to be what families are hearing and seniors are hearing before they get into the critical situations. So I would welcome all of those ideas to be incorporated.
I'll connect with you later after the meeting. Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 8, Police Department. Any discussion? Not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 9.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 10.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Councilmember
Thank you,
Stevens.
Mr. Chairman. I'm going to vote no on this, and I'm going to tell you why. So this is a project that's been ongoing for a long time. There's been a lot of discussion about it. We have a contractor who has not performed, continues not to perform, is unlikely to perform, and we are putting off the inevitable here. Certainly, we want to give everybody a second, third, fourth, and as many chances as we can, but this is a project that needs to go forward. It's a city-contracted project. It is bonded. There's a bonding company out there that will not act and will not come to task and will not take any action unless we put the contractor in default and put them on specific notice. And unless I hear something different from somebody on our team, this is just another extension of a bad project that will not get better. And I have not heard anything in the times that I've been involved in this and heard about this project through committee meetings that convinces me anything otherwise. So I'm certainly open-eared at this point, but if nothing changes between now and the time we vote, I just think that we are putting off till tomorrow what's going to happen anyway. And while we certainly don't like to get crosswise with people with which we enter contracts, there are certainly times when we must take that hard step, and I think this is that time. And I don't know if Chief Curia is here. I know that his concern is for the safety of his team, to make sure he's got his facilities in place. And I think we as a council will be doing him and his team a favor if we take an affirmative act to move this project forward with someone other than the contractor who's not performing. So with that, I just want to make sure I'm on the record that my vote reflects the reality of what's going on out there and not anything further than that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Jig.
So, Mr. Chairman, we've had this discussion in front of the Public Safety Committee before. Can we get an update on what is the status of this and what's going on with the station? Because as Councilmember Seekins has said, there's been several delays and others popped up with this project.
Right, so subsequent to the Public Safety Committee meeting, we met with the mayor, we met with the contractor. I believe the mayor spoke with the contractor a couple times. They had agreed to all of the requirements we made of them as far as joint checks, the dates, liquidated damages, getting their DRB application in and approved by our city's DRB staff. All of that was achieved. This is the contract amendment based on the results of that public safety meeting. So here we are.
far as where we were with this? We were about what stage?
We were about 60 to 65% at that point in time. We did send a letter of default. We did hear back from their surety company. We did hear back from their attorney. And everybody is in support of, I mean, of course, they're in support of the contractor, saying that they're confident they can get the job done.
Councilmember Waring.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am in agreement with Mr. Seekings on this one. When I saw the agreement to have joint checks, that tells me somebody hadn't been paying their subs on time. And when you don't pay the subs on time, they don't come back and perform timely. Not only that, you end up with judgments. And we have to unwind this after we came to this particular agreement. It's going to cost us even more potentially to finish that fire station. They've just been disappointing. Their performance on this has just been disappointing. They agreed to the contract, now they're agreeing to this. I mean, for a contractor to say, I agree that I'll enter into joint payment so I can make sure the subs I asked to work for our company will be paid on time, there's something lacking there from a management standpoint. So I'm going to vote against this one. I know the mayor, I know the committee has done the best they could on this one. We've been over backwards trying to work with these folk on this one, but they just simply can't perform. So I'm going to vote no on this as well.
Councilmember Griffin.
I think we have to be careful and wary that we have now set precedents that these projects are going to be months late. This is the second fire station in a row that's several months behind. And that's just not good business for the city, and it's not good for our fire department, which needs this station. Also, you know, we have a station down at where the old IHOP was on 17. That property's been purchased, and I'm sure the landowner's ready to get to work there. We've even talked about housing our men at St. Andrews PSD Station. That's not good business. Now, what I'm afraid of and what I'm a little bit upset about is that when all this came out, I asked to have an executive session about this, and we didn't really have it. It was kind of decided that the Public Safety Committee figured it out. But then here we are with this on the agenda here tonight, and I would have loved to have that talking point in that executive session to talk about that, because here we are, you know, talking about approving this money. And I feel like most of our council's kind of left in the dark about what happened, and the Public Safety Committee is really the only ones who are informed what's going on. I had no idea that the mayor met with the contractor and everybody in the last few days. So I feel like there's a lack of communication somehow too through all of this. And whenever we get behind on projects, our communication as a city should be perfect. So I'd like to see us do a better job on that.
I would just recommend that because there are some benefits and risks of not moving forward with this, that we have discussed in an executive session. If council is of the mind, I would recommend that we defer this to the end of the city council meeting where we are going to an executive session, and we can brief you on all of the ins and outs that the lawyers have been discussing in order to resolve this. I think that might be a little bit more prudent than discussing it in open, because we may find ourselves in litigation.
Well, to be referred to executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any further discussion?
Can I just ask a clarifying question then? So if we have executive session after the council meeting, then can we take a vote on this after that executive session? Okay.
We can.
We can defer and suspend Ways and Means and come back, right?
Right.
Yes, yes.
Because I wouldn't want to miss the opportunity to resolve it tonight. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion on the floor to defer. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 11, stormwater management approval.
Move for approval. Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 12. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 13, the budget, finance, and revenue collections. an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of waterworks and sewer system refunding.
Move for
and cap-
approval, Mr. Chairman.
Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No, I do.
Yeah.
$220 million is a lot of money. When you have a shift in interest rates, and this is something that I would hope that our city, Mr. Mayor, and I'll be talking on this a little bit later on, CWS has just done a wonderful job managing their assets and debt. They've been here probably 3-4 times over the last 4 years, maybe 5 years, and refinanced different groups or tranches of bonds to improve the cash flow. When you lower the interest rate on the mortgage at your house and get a lower rate, you experience a savings. That's what they're doing for our whole water and sewer system. I think we have, that's right, the CFO there, if you'd come up to the microphone and share possibly the increase in cash flow savings. Mr. Wesley Rock, you will hear specifically what I'm referring to.
Thank you very much for having us on the agenda tonight. As Councilman Marion mentioned, we're refinancing a good portion of our bonds, and it'll be a savings of about $19.5 million. That's in today's dollars.
I know you speak a little bit low. Can you speak into the microphone a little bit?
I'm sorry. The savings will be about $19.5 million, and that's in today's dollars.
Ratepayers. Gotta keep it low.
So it's a tremendous amount. The market is just perfect for it right now, and it's the lowest the treasurers have ever been in history. And so the timing of it worked out perfectly for us. And so anybody have any additional questions on it?
But I really appreciate the, excuse me, Councilman, the way they're being managed. In other words, the financial advisor gives the information, CFO over at CWS and team gets together to calculate and crunch the numbers to say, how does that effectuate certainly the agency and the ratepayers? Instead of having to go to ratepayers for future rate increases or a higher rate increase by managing the amount of money you outlay on your debt, that 19 savings frankly will reflect itself in rate increases that will not have to go forward to ratepayers in the future, and expands our capital to be able, because that's a highly capitalized business over there, water and sewage.
So just one other thing I mentioned too is that I know the city is AAA. Our utility is also AAA rated by Moody's, and we're one of 14 combined water and wastewater standalone utilities in the United States that has a AAA rating. So that has a big impact on ultimately on what we save, because it increases the buyers for trust, and they can buy into our bonds it wouldn't be if we had a lower bond rating. So anyway, we appreciate everybody's help here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you too to Charleston Water System. You know, what a great partner we have. I mean, honestly, you hardly ever hear any issues from your constituents about Charleston Water System. And when there is a line break or something happens, they get out there and fix it. I can remember a couple of times I've called you personally and called Mr. Hill personally and said, hey, we've got a busted water line. And they're out there within an hour and they're fixing it. We're very, very blessed. And they continue to get larger. And as they get larger, they get stronger. And it starts at the top. Their leadership is second to none. So thank y'all for just being a great partner to the city.
Any more discussion? We have one abstention. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 14, Committee on Real Estate Report.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of council, Mr. Mayor. We moved very rapidly through our agenda yesterday that Councilmember Appel thought he had whiplash going through our agenda. We have 3 authorizations for the mayor to execute an easement agreement and one for the purchase and sale with a, and you can have somebody talk about that, But we voted unanimously to approve all 3 of those authorizations, and then 2 annexations on District Number 5, and those were also approved unanimously. And I move that the report be accepted and approved by council.
That includes D?
That would include all of D,
All of them? Okay.
all of them. A, B, C, and D.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay. Just before we,
A nay?
no, I didn't.
I thought we heard a
I
nay.
said any nay. I'm saying nay.
Like a nay vote?
Sound like a nay to me.
Nay vote to me.
Several of us heard that. Several of us heard that nay. Okay, all right.
Just before we conclude, I think sometimes we've got to sort of recognize when staff do outstanding work, and they're not even expecting me to talk about it, but I ran into some issues within my district. The Bristol, the B Street apartments, lofts, both of which required extensive coming together, not just of all departments, but all persons who had some interest, including the entire hospital industry. I think our Department of Transportation did a great job. I think that our Parks Department pulled it up by the rear to make it happen, especially for the B Street lofts. And I think that the folks at the Bristol are also happy that we were following up with issues that they had. And even more simply, an elderly lady in my district needed a handicap space. Again, within 2 or 3 days, our transportation department had this elderly lady a space. And I think it's very important when staff do great things in our neighborhood, sometimes for 200 and 300 residents, you need to know. So I applaud our Department of Transportation and our Department of Parks for what they did for the residents in my district. Anything else to come before this committee? If not, we're adjourned.
We'll start city council.